Hello there gorgeous gamers and welcome back to Pure Play TV, and we have our review for Grid Legends, the first new racer from Codemasters under EA's ownership. But don't worry, it's not terrible and it's a ton more fun than Ghost Games' Need for Speeds, so that's something. But is it worth a play? Watch on and find out. I've been playing Grid since before it was even called Grid. Back when I was a kid, hanging on the edge of the sofa watching my dad play the latest racer on the PS2, Codemasters was putting out a steady stream of racers under the name TOCA Touring. Even now, some 20 years later, there's still a familiarity that takes me back to those Saturday nights, begging my dad if I could have a go. I never could because I was absolutely awful at them. I've since gotten better over the years, and so has TOCA, but familiarity is the name of the game, and after having recently gone back to 2019's Grid, that's even more apparent. I reviewed Grid 2019 and really enjoyed it. That was back before EA swooped in and put Codemasters on its payroll. Has the shift in gear to EA had a detrimental effect? No, thankfully, but who knows what the future holds. I still remember when FIFA had a decent career mode and FIFA Ultimate Team was still an executive's wet dream. This latest installment comes with something that's brand new to Grid, but not new to Codemasters. A narrative. Yes, a story in a racing game. Who knew it was possible? Codemasters has been playing this game with the F1 series for a couple of years now, so the experience and know-how is there, but the execution is, at times, questionable. But I do get it, and I love the idea of giving cars on the track some personality by having their names attached to a face and a persona that you can kind of get to know via the between race cutscenes. But those cutscenes are fully live action. Real actors sitting in front of real cameras while they read their pretend stories. And for me, it's jarring. The on-track racing is good fun, and while it looks superb, I played on the Series X, it's definitely at odds with the yank back to reality for the mini-story episodes. That is not to say that the story would have been better had it been served up by digital characters, but the shift from arcade racer to super real people threw me off every single time. The story itself is by the numbers. You start off as a nobody who gets their big shot on a racing team. No big surprises there. And of course, there is an arsehole for everybody to hate, which I found very easy to do. I suppose that is a credit to the fine acting. So that's the big chunk of what's new. You're getting a story mode that, depending on if you want the backstory too, will give you a 6 to 7 hour experience. It's not bad by any means, and it was a nice change of pace, rather than just going race to race with menus to separate the action. But elsewhere, it's all a bit familiar. A lot of tracks and cars have been lifted from the previous game, which I suppose is fair play as many of them are damn good tracks and bloody good cars, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd done it all before. Perhaps my recent re-binge of Grid in preparation for Grid Legends may not have helped. But until publishers start putting out a PSA that says, don't play our previous game if you don't want the new one to feel familiar, I will continue my tradition of playing originals just before the release of their sequel. I can't be the only one who does it. On the tracks, Grid Legends plays the part to near perfection. Roaring around corners and shimmying through the tight chicanes is still a thrill, and the arcade handling does not disappoint. It still felt familiar, which in this case is not a bad thing to be carrying over. It's far away from the simulations of Forza Motorsport or Gran Turismo. You can consider Grid to be more what the Dirt series is to the WRC Championship games. A lighter, easier, more forgiving, and for the casual racing fan, more fun experience. That's not to say that there isn't plenty to get stuck into, and there is still a fair challenge for those who want it. The career mode, separate from the story, has a whole roster of events and championships to play through and unlock. It's a more standard progression system of play more, win more, get more. For me, this is how racers have always been, so naturally, I enjoyed this a lot more than the we tell you what to do story mode. You can also unlock a whole bunch of cars, old familiars and new arrivals alike, and race more to your own tune. There's also a race builder if you fancy crafting your own bespoke experiences, and of course there's online if the robust, albeit at times clumsy, AI isn't pushing you far enough. Personally, I get hammered enough by the computer, so I don't need to go online to know that I'm worthless. Thank you very much. Is Grid Legends still worth a look, even if it does feel like more of the same? Yeah, definitely. The story mode, while being cheesier than my feet, is a nice addition and it brings a bit more flavour and character to the cars that you're racing alongside. Likewise, the arcadey career mode is robust and enough of a standalone experience that if you can't deal with the dodgy acting, you'll still get your fill with the massive roster of events and cars. It's more of the same, yes, but Grid 2019 was an excellent game by all accounts, so I wouldn't say it's a terribly bad thing. Let's just hope that microtransactions can be kept at bay a little while longer. And that is the end of this review. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found this video useful in some way. If you did enjoy this video, do us a massive favour, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you never miss a new video. I've been Chris, you've been Legends, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, cheers my dears.